You can use a warp force. I don't know how to do that, but you can try it out. Use that. You can use an impulse to push the velocity. Pretty much there's a whole lot of stuff that you can do. Actually, there's even a fan force, even though it doesn't have no what you call it, turbulence and stuff like that. So what I'm gonna use in my case, being that for one, this is not about the simulation. This is more about the bullet time effect. So simulation wise, I really won't mind. However it comes out, it'll be okay. But we're gonna have to animate a little bit because we're gonna have to make this stuff work. So we're gonna increase the velocity to 7 probably. Increase this, well, probably reduce the scale a little bit. Increase the frequency, increase the amplitude a little bit. Just play with the numbers basically. It doesn't really matter. Some things I don't even know what they do, like exponent over here. If you want to add a noise field, you can actually go ahead and do that. So on the fields, noise field over here from the forces, and actually plug that in over here, but probably might not create what I want, so I might go ahead and delete that, but you might want to plug that in. Once you got that plugged in, next thing you want to drop in is a gravity, because you want the things to come down eventually. Gravity really much has no settings on it, so you're just gonna leave it as is. Then what you're gonna drop lastly as is a solver to solve the whole thing. And pretty much all of these have no settings. All of these ain't got no settings. And I'm gonna go ahead and drop in under objects, drop in a ground plane. And the last thing I'm gonna drop is a data flow merge. So that should be pretty much set up. Actually, wrong. Last thing I'm gonna drop in is an RBD auto freeze, so that way they stop if they're actually moving. Okay, one thing I'm gonna say is that it'll simulate exactly the way we want. So okay, so in our case, it's gonna be simulating in Z because the wind force, you know, is actually headed in Z. So pretty much it's gonna be going that way, as you can see over here. The wind indicator over here. But we want it to actually move a little bit, straight or raggedy. If you got the noise, they'll jiggle a little bit. But you want a high velocity so they can actually, I don't know, velocity, angular velocity. You probably might have to add that from here, angular velocity. So, and you probably want to start that after a few frames. So you want to use an if expression probably, but that's not the problem as of right now. You're gonna stick to the point of actually having the bullet time work. So we're gonna animate this so it actually stop, goes a little bit with the wind, then wind actually stops, you know, blowing, then gravity takes over from the spot where the wind you know, stops blowing. So pretty much you're gonna keyframe this. So wind is gonna be active pretty much from frame 1. So I press Alt key and press the activation, you know, this particular portion over here. Then I'm gonna go to frame, I would say 96, 95, then put the wind value to 0. Alright, I'm gonna press escape key to stop simulating, and I'm gonna press the Alt key again and put a keyframe over here. And now I need to go to the gravity over here and put the activation to 0. No, actually to 1 in that particular frame. 1 in that particular frame. And a few frames back, I'm gonna go ahead and put a 0 on it. And I'll actually go press the shift key to see the frames, and I'm gonna go ahead and push this a little bit forward. 1 frame, no, 2, 3 frames behind. And now I'm gonna go ahead and simulate. You can already see they're on the ground because they actually went ahead and simulated, and it seems like all of them are just pointing in one direction, but that's not really the problem as of right now. What we're gonna do actually is just achieve the bullet time effect. I'm gonna go ahead and simulate. Okay, so I got the simulation pretty. I simulated up to frame 170 something. Took like 2 minutes to actually get the whole thing done like that. So that's the simulation. Then you see they actually go somewhere and they just drop. So pretty much they create the boom boom effect, boom, you know, somewhere. So we can actually visualize that, and you see all we can actually create is an effect where that stops, and we can actually go around this. So pretty much you want to make sure you can actually go around this without any problem. So pretty much the simulation part is done, as you can see. So we got that animated like that. So we pretty much animated the wind over here to when the wind stops, pretty much the gravity stops, and you don't want the gravity at the beginning frame. I actually didn't set that up at the first time, but I just set that up right now. So we got the dops set up, so let's go ahead and start finalizing this effect. Okay, so now we're gonna go back up. So we got pretty much that set up, but we don't actually visualize this guy or this guy. We're gonna go ahead and drop in another geometry over here, and we're gonna name him appropriately. I named him bullet time. So I'm gonna go inside, and what I'm gonna be doing with this is actually getting this data from dops. So we're gonna be using a sourcing dop import, and pretty much what you're going to be doing, the DOP network is actually what you're going to select over here. So the DOP network over here is actually the simulation over there, and pretty much that's the network that you want. And the object mask, you have to put in an expression over here because you want something really specific from DOPs. You could actually do fetch geometry from DOPs, and actually it does, so you can actually just use that and it should work. But one thing I'm gonna go ahead and do is actually delete the polyplane. You can see we got a ground plane over here, so I'm gonna go ahead and delete the polyplane because we don't need him for real. So he's on the very last portion. So now we only got the groups over there. Once again, 227. So we got the group set up. So now we need to actually export this to channel operators. That's where the trick lies actually, and that's all you've been waiting on and nothing else. So we're gonna go drop in our best friend the null, who is always available for us. Name him to chops pretty much, and what we're gonna set up next is a chop network. So on the managers, you're gonna drop in a chop network. Name him appropriately as it should be. Then we're gonna do an external, and no, it's not dynamics, it's geometry because we already got the data in geometry level. So we're gonna go ahead and select the SOP, which in our case is two chops. We just named that with a capital letter, comes at the very top of the hierarchy. Say accept, and it's gonna be animated because it's already pretty much simulated, and all we need is actually point position. So position is what we're gonna be messing with, and we can go to motion view now, and it has a lot of data, lots of data. Oof, you don't even want to see this, trust me. But what I'm gonna go ahead and do is actually press the escape key, and I'm gonna say graphs. You see that? That's a lot of stuff. You can't even work with this for real. You don't even know what's up, what's down. Oof. So I'm gonna go ahead and say graph. Hopefully this thing doesn't hang up on me. That's a lot of data right there. You can't even see anything. And I say graph path channel name. Alright, so what that does is pretty much you can actually see all the graphs over here. That's a lot of graphs. It goes to the 18,000 range. But you can also come over here and see how many you got. You got 9,000 channels pretty much. So pretty much 3 channels in every position for every single object created. So that's a lot of stuff. And cooking was interrupted by me. That's why it's has the little hazardous sign over there. But no worries. What we're gonna go ahead and drop next is a create constant. And this is pretty much what we're gonna be using to animate the whole thing. And I'll press the escape key again because it's gonna be simulating the whole thing, trying to simulate the whole